Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Is it a new cup for actual sports these days? It's a new cup every time, right? They don't just give back the cup at the end.
I don't think they pass.
It's a replica of the last year's cup, or a version.
They keep like an official one, and they put the winners on. The names of the winners on the placard, and then you get a replica to take home.
A replica.
Yeah.
A replica. A
Yeah.
souvenir.
Well, you keep the real one for a while, but when you lose it, they give a replica.
We'll see about that.
And it's no tiny cup. It is not tiny. There must be some Greco-Roman basis for it. It's got to be something. It's got to be.
And we hold it to this day. Isn't it crazy how those things go through time?
We went to, you know what? I'm embarrassed to admit I don't go to the museum just on my own. Like I might see something and be like, that's interesting, but I'm probably not gonna go. But my daughter insisted on going to see the Pompeii exhibit. She's been asking since it came to town. Wanted to see Pompeii. So we finally went before it left town. And it was actually pretty interesting to see the number of things that were preserved that they were able to find and have on display as evidence of life lived in Pompeii.
Were there any good cups?
I was thinking about that when y'all said it. No, but they had a bad ass frying pan. Cast iron. I got a photo. I took a picture of that. I was like, this looks like this could fry some really good chicken. And it is in that display.
I guess we could fight to the death for that.
I would fight for a good, well-seasoned cast iron.
That's well seasoned.
You can only use it a few times when you get it. Yeah. And then you got to give it back, and they'll give you a replica.
Yeah. Season it yourself. No. I want it for the seasoning. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Benita. Hey, Cicely.
Yeah.
How's it going? I don't know where John went, but you guys have tuned into the Can't Tell Us Nothing show. Let me get in frame here. You tuned into the Can't Tell Us Nothing show. Everybody, thank you for joining. Can't Tell Us Nothing, an improv group out of Houston, Texas. H-Town, Tejas. Hey, John. We're an improv group who lives there, and we perform here, and we do this show where we have opinions, discussion topics, turn into improv scenes right on the spot, right in front of your eyes. We just make them up. We have no idea. We let the conversation inspire the art and the hilarity, and also your comments. Feel free to leave comments throughout the show. We try to shout out them when we see them. And that's it.
Yeah. Okay. We can turn it off.
Yeah, my internet
just me.
It's getting weird, y'all. Sorry about that.
The internet.
Shout out to John's internet provider.
Yeah, what's going on?
Who's your provider?
I believe it's AT&T.
Oh, I can't say nothing about them.
Shout out to
I have them. Yeah, I have them too. If I start blasting them, I might go fuzzy like you. So
about to get throttled.
Something. You ever notice that, like, whenever I mention a brand name or I'm complaining about a brand name on the phone, like the call just drops? I was like, oh man.
Yeah, well,
they know AT&T. They know I'm talking about them. Yeah, they had that kind of power.
I'm sure they do.
Look at John, just froze.
Look at that. Look, John.
And why is the time jumping so fast? John is in a time warp. Look at the time. You see that? You see how fast? Oh, those are seconds.
I was like, I don't see it. It looks normal to me.
I never paid attention to it before.
That's how time normally moves, man.
The numbers move. Yes, they do, Chandler. Pay attention.
Well, while John sort that out, people in the chat, how's it going? How's your day been? Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. My day's been pretty good. In the midst of a move. I'm actually still here in my house. that I got before the move, right?
Oh, the original.
Kind of the original, yeah. Kind of getting out the last bits and bobs, and one of those is this, because AT&T won't come out until tomorrow to install internet into my new house. So,
Yeah.
AT&T, if you're listening, I've said nothing.
if I go fuzzy,
they did it. I'm telling you.
Man,
you gotta be careful what you say. Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna
like
put their name in
one
my
of
mouth.
my neighbor his tree got struck by lightning. And ever since that happened, my internet has been trashed, literally right across the street. His tree. I woke up one day and I remember the thunder and lightning. Never thought it struck right across, right? You always feel like it strikes right across the street. His tree is literally dead. Like it was a beautiful, luscious tree. And I went outside the next morning, all the leaves were brown. Like
Wow.
everything brown. Never seen anything like it. And so yeah. And he was like out like getting ready to cry. Like people out here love their trees. So he was devastated, you know. But you know,
goes that
can't
tree's
fight.
time, I guess.
Yeah. So that for some reason after that, my internet with AT&T has been bad. But yeah, I'm back.
There it is. Where was I? Oh, I was reading something about a plantation in Louisiana. I think it was a post. I don't know. I don't think I follow them, but you know how you get those weird ads. Anyway, it was a plantation there that was assuring all of its well wishers and supporters that, you know, we know the storm wreaked some havoc on the land, but they'll be up and running. You know, once again, they you know, some of the trees were down, but they were able to, you know, not all of them, and it's still they're going to be able to get back to things looking the same. And I remember somebody asked, like, what about the such and such and such tree? And they're like, that tree made it through. And I was like, you remember the type of tree of the millions of trees out there? You recall one particular one, and you wanted to check on its its status? I thought, first off, it's a plantation. That's sick. Second, you remember the tree from over there?
Oh,
Anyway, all right. So when you say
That tree
people out there
barely
love their
made
trees,
it through.
yeah,
Yeah.
It was touch and go for a while.
The first 400 years, it was mighty damn strong. And this last winter just could not make it through. But yeah, they love their trees out here. They love them big time.
Mhm. How do you know? How you know they love them?
They will tell you about them. They ask you about your tree. You know, like you love trees. You're asking somebody about their stuff. You know, yeah. Seriously, they even have an HOA. You have to have 3 trees on your property. But dude got his tree struck by lightning. I was like, Brett, what's going on, man? You only got 2. I'm like, you like, don't count. It's dead. That don't count, bro. Gotta pull that thing up. I need another tree in the next couple of weeks, Brett. Asking me about my trees. Get your trees shit together.
You better secure your trees.
We cut to someone knocking on John's door one day. Hey, John. Hey. Yeah. Up, Antoine, you know, remember me from the HOA?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Antoine.
No, I'm sorry, because I feel like this is a weird accusation to make, I'll admit. But we at the HOA have been talking. We think that you've been faking the life of one of your trees. You know, you require 3 trees to live in our beautiful neighborhood. And we all knew that one of those trees was on its last limb, if you don't mind the pun. But then I couldn't help but notice it's become greener. And I see you've gotten green paint sitting in your garage. And we just put 2 and 2 together. So I just wanted you to confront you about it, see if you'd like to explain yourself.
Your name was Antoine again?
That's
From the HOA?
Mm-hmm.
You were the guy that was like really strict about how many donuts you can eat at the meeting. That was you,
I
right?
just want everybody to have some. We
Yeah.
don't want anybody to go without.
I don't want to explain anything to you. I feel uncomfortable right now that you know so much of my personal information, or at least seem to want to know, instead of paying attention to your own house. You know what's in my garage. Come on, man. Do I know what's in your bathroom? I don't think so. But it would be weird if I did.
It's the
right?
HOA. It's the HOA. That's our responsibility, is to make sure that the houses in this neighborhood are upkept.
Well,
and part of that is making sure you have the regulated amount of trees that are alive on your front yard.
Look, when my tree got hit by that big ass bolt, I told y'all I can bring it back to where it needs to be.
You did say
sounds like
that.
y'all don't believe in the type of work and nurturing I've done to this tree. And how if anything, right? You saw green paint, right? I didn't paint the whole tree green.
But you did paint part of it?
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. Excuse me. Here, got your UPS package here, Mr. John. If you just signed. Yeah, we don't get too many orders for just acorns. And we didn't we couldn't find the little Velcro attachments that you ordered as well.
Yep.
I think Amazon.
That's cool. You don't got it.
You
don't need to worry about it. Just
okay.
Get out of here. I'm sure you got other stuff.
You guys have a great day.
I'll see you later. Man,
I love the UPS people in our neighborhood.
Acorn salad is delicious, bro.
Is that what that's for? I've never heard of acorn salad. I'd love to try some.
I've never.
If you're about to make it.
An HOA being investigating people's garages either. That's pretty wild too. But acorn salad seems a little bit less threatening.
Well, no one's really being threatened, but I really want to say that we've got our eye on you. All right, I'm gonna let you get back to your evening, but we're watching. Okay,
you're watching me.
We're watching the whole neighborhood.
You're watching the whole neighborhood.
Watching the whole neighborhood, and you're in it. You're right here in the neighborhood with your 2.5 trees. So we're just keeping an eye on you.
I believe that's 3 trees, right? That tree is still in the ground. It still has leaves on it. Doesn't matter what color the leaves are. It's still there. If it was dead, I feel like, I couldn't lean on it like this, If it was dead, right?
The tree shifted a little bit when you did that.
I mean, it's a flexible tree. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want a tree that has some give and take. If it's real straight up and down, it's just gonna snap like a bone. You never saw that in a tree?
We cut to the HOA meeting later that night. This guy will not break. We gotta do something.
I know that tree is dead. Okay,
we all know that tree.
Flexible trees stands.
Yeah,
it goes against everything we know about trees, or at least mature trees. And I know
exactly
about mature trees.
Yeah, that's not some sort of skinny palm tree, right? This is the herbaceous red oak.
That's it. It's a mighty oak.
Mighty.
And now it's like leaning into my yard. So I got 3.5 trees. I don't know. I made too many trees.
That's too many trees.
There's too many trees. You need
too many trees. You're gonna have leaves drop all over your yard, and it's gonna be a hazard.
Yeah, but it's not my fault. It's John's fault. So,
well, we all know the slogan of our HOA, Amechi.
Yeah, we do.
What you want to repeat it?
Yeah. What happens in your yard?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, happens in your yard. That's right. So.
It's very vague. All kind of interpretations, but that's okay.
Well, Amechi, you more than anyone seems to be that have some sort of motivation to make sure that John is brought to task here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Can we count on you?
Yeah, you can count on me. I'm gonna get that tree back on his side of the fence.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do that. and make sure it's alive while you're out there. I mean, he's got this whole weekend at Bernie's thing going on with that tree, coming outside and he doesn't think that we see the fans blowing the leaves that he's glued onto that tree, but we see it,
Yeah, of course you see it. There's only one tree waving on a windless day.
Oh, no, we're not doing that. So, yeah, we're going to leave it up to you, Amechi.
Okay,
Got
great.
this.
We cut to Amechi talking to John the next day. Hey, John.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to talk to you about the tree.
Oh man, why do y'all stay on this damn tree, man? Fuck y'all do all day. What's up?
I'm a full-time HOA member. That's what I do now.
That's your career.
Yep. That's why I moved here. Anywho, your tree's leaning over into my yard, and it's touching my house.
Okay.
And so I'm in violation because I have 3.5 trees in my front yard, which is too much.
I thought the HOA saying is what happens in your yard is in your yard, right? So
that's not the saying, actually. What happens in your yard, that's it. You're adding words to it, which
it just sounds like more should come. So I always just add that extra piece at the end, probably some mental notice on. But what happens in your yard? All right, so it's in your yard.
Yeah, it's actually in my yard. So what are we gonna do about this? How are we gonna solve this?
I don't know what I'm gonna do about it. What's in your yard? But my tree is stretching right now.
Okay, and since I can see it, it's right outside my bedroom window. The tree looks dead.
It's not dead. It's stretching, dude. It's a difference, man. Maybe it needs to come back up from its stretch. It's lost some blood circulation or something, but it's okay. Trust me.
That's why your half of the tree has these leaves that look like paper. These green leaves that look like paper, and my half is completely dead. Tell the truth. The tree's dead, right?
Look, the tree, I couldn't get it to come back alive after the shock of the thunder and lightning and stuff. Yeah, man, it's dead. It's really dead, man. But I just don't feel like I should dig it up, like it's still attached to the ground. And, it's kind of like pulling a hair out for no reason, just because it turned gray, right? I don't want to pull it out. Just let it grow. Except for it's not going to grow. It's just going to stay there,
Yeah, because that's what it means when it's dead. It's not going to grow anymore. So
here's my point, though, man. I mean, come on, dude. You were in HOA full time. You know how ridiculous this is. If I want my tree to stay here, it's my property, right? Why does somebody care if it's leaning over into their property? It doesn't matter.
Look,
it doesn't matter. Does it stop you from sleeping? It doesn't, man. That's all I'm saying.
Listen for a sec. Look, we love trees in this neighborhood, right? We love trees in this neighborhood.
I mean, yeah, y'all love some trees. Yeah. Y'all love
them.
I got a good deal. Y'all love trees.
Yeah, I've got 3 trees, and they're gonna be jealous if there's a 4th tree intruded into my life and I give it attention instead of my trees. You understand how that works?
I didn't know that trees were like that. Maybe there should be a group, like an HOA amongst the trees, that keep the trees from getting jealous if one decides to grow bigger than the other, something like that. It's kind of what it seems like you guys are doing to me.
We cut to the tree HOA. Order. I know that a crime has been committed. He will not lay our brother Woodward to rest. He just keeps painting things green and leaving him in the yard and not getting rid of him. That's
disgusting.
Barbarian.
Painting a corpse. Ugh.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? We live hundreds of years, mighty oaks, standing strong, never bending once.
Never bending. But I will say, Woodward was over the required height of our agreed HOA, which runs the risk
He
of being
was.
struck by lightning.
You couldn't speak any get any sense into that tree, you know? There he is. I'm in the ground. I can grow. Who's to stop me? We tried to tell him, brothers.
We tried to
And
find him so many times.
And scene. Tried to find him so many times.
Yeah, you gotta stop growing. It's gonna be the death of you. Was it Sisyphus? That's the Sisyphus tree.
Icarus.
Icarus, yeah.
Sisyphus had to push the rock.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
the
the
boulder.
rock. Yeah. Man.
Yeah, Benita, we can have Bernie's with trees.
Yeah.
We need to find like what tree is like rhymes or in the same world as Bernie's. And boom. That's a whole film right there. No, my neighbors are serious about their trees. So of course, just like FOMO, right? If everyone's like talking about the trees and asking about the tree, you start noticing the trees. So now I walk around the neighborhood and I start going, man, that's a big ass tree. Is mine's bigger? I think it is. And I just keep walking. And even people come to me, you got the biggest tree on the street. And I'm like, yeah, I do. All right, thanks. Thanks for the award. If you're not gonna give it an award, don't mention it, right? That's how I am. If you're not gonna give me a legitimate award or something that's like I could use as a compliment, I can't use I got the biggest tree on the street resume or anything like that. I don't care about trees like that, but I love my tree. It's beautiful. It's just a little over the top.
You heard it here, everybody. John loves his tree.
You love it. That's good to know.
It's good to
Oh
know.
yeah, I love it. I'll name it. And if I love something, I'll name it.
What do you call it?
I haven't decided between three names, so go behind 3 names.
How long have you been deciding between these names?
For about a couple weeks since I got back from Columbus. It's a big ass tree, man. So every time I see another tree, I'm like, nah, that name's that tree. You need a different name. I walk around like Adam in the Garden of Eden, pondering, what do I name this? Tree. No, that's not right. That's stupid. Who was he talking to when he was naming this? Was he talking to the animals that he named? All right, Badger. We got to figure out what this animal is.
His best friend's a badger. I love it. Out of all the animals in the garden. All right, Badger, you ready to name some more stuff today?
Yeah.
That Badger's slow. He got left out the good book though. Everything, but you didn't mention
Everybody
me.
didn't mention. I named everybody. The hell with Adam. The hell with him and all of his sinning and shit. No.
I told him not to do it.
I'm sure somebody in the garden, all those animals he named, somebody had to give him a, come on, man.
Hey, man, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
It's the serpent. Remember, you did not like naming the serpent because you didn't even like him. And you're listening to him? Damn it, man. You damned us all. What was it? It was some show, Supernatural, I was watching. And in one of the episodes of Supernatural, there was an angel who apparently fell asleep and let Satan in the garden, right? So the way they built the story was it was actual angel who was responsible for making sure that no threats get into the garden, paradise. And he fell asleep like the monkey off Ace Ventura. So they had him in prison for like eternity. Like he was just sitting in jail. His one job that he was supposed to do, the thing he was created for, he blew it. Now, in his defense, if I was his lawyer, like, come on, God, you knew this would happen, right? He had to. Why is he in prison? That should not happen, right? Don't put him in prison for something that he was born to do. He was born to guard it and inevitably let evil in, right? That's what he was there for.
Why'd you let him? Why do you?
Right,
Why does he
right.
even need to sleep? why do you even give him
My
the
thoughts.
ability to get tired? You knew that was
Yeah.
the only way they could get
He was a
by. is if they
security
got
guard.
tired.
Oh,
Your Honor, I can't. Did we not see the whole?
This is liar because he should have got off for that. He had
I mean,
a terrible liar.
There was no way he was gonna win a judge against his peers, and the judge is God. And God gave him the ability to like telling him that he sucked, right? You are the one that started this. That's not gonna happen. So he threw him into jail. And the supernatural, it was funny how they try to connect it, but my thoughts were, that's so ridiculous, man. Like, why would I? My child, like, I don't tell my child things as a pet peeve of mine. I don't tell my kid to do something I know she's gonna fuck up. Like, take all these glass plates into the kitchen. Don't you dare drop them. She's gonna drop them, right? Why would I give her that task? So that I can piss myself off if I know I'm gonna be pissed off if she drops them, right? That's how I feel about the angel in the garden. It's like, this dude is gonna try him, and he's gonna try him on his weakest moment. And we all know what his weakest moment is, right? You want this to happen, dude. But why'd you throw him in jail? I don't get it.
What punishment?
Punish him for something you knew was gonna happen. That's cold, man. Anyway, next topic. Next topic. I didn't want to lose this as I was getting off. As we all know, the actor Michael K. Williams. Hopefully I spelled that right. I did not. Let me put some respect on him.
Is your keyboard fighting back? Look like you got There we go.
Yes. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on. There we go.
Yeah, I know
There we
him
go. Finally.
from the role most people know him from, The Wire, Omar. Fantastic role.
Omar.
One of my favorite characters on that show.
He's absolutely my favorite character. He was in Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country, yeah.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, I believe. He was in a ton of wonderful roles. Apparently, they found him in his apartment. They believe there was some drugs involved. It was sad to hear because I immediately when I heard it, like I thought to myself, and once I said it, I thought how stupid. I was like, please don't let it be drugs, right? As if dying has different levels to it. He's gone, right? Like, oh, please don't let it be that, be fire or something. But my thoughts were like, I hope it was not something against his own self. That was what I meant. Like, what for this guy to go out, with this dealing with this addiction problem, or some people speculate. To me, it hit close to home. And when I did more research, I found out that he did have a drug problem that even manifested itself during The Wire, which was a very interesting, based on the type of show The Wire was and how to deal with the subject matter and still have that kind of struggles. But I wanted to, do a moment of silence for him, and also just kind of hear how you guys were impacted by him as well. So let's do a moment of silence first. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shout out to Michael. But yeah, how did you guys what was your impact with him? What was your favorite film of his? What favorite line, character? Show him some love. But yeah, see Tom, what y'all think?
Yeah, it's just been so much loss of life recently, not to diminish, losing him, but it's so much, and it's getting to be unbearable. especially when it's such a great performer. Just the guy knew his craft. He's always a joy to watch. I didn't watch The Wire. I'm one of the few people, so I don't have Game of Thrones. I don't my resume doesn't include Game of Thrones, The Wire. I'm trying to think of all the big Walking Dead. What's the other one with the guy who sold crystal meth? That one. So I never
Breaking
watched any
Bad.
Breaking Bad. I didn't watch any of those shows. But I did watch Lovecraft, and I thought he was superb in Lovecraft Country. So yeah, shout out to Michael.
Yeah, I'll say this. So I did watch The Wire. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And though, if I remember correctly, Wire was one of those shows where they would cast actual. Where did it take place? Maryland?
Yeah, Baltimore.
Right?
Yeah,
Baltimore, right. Where they would cast actual Baltimoreans, like non-actors in the show. And seeing him play this character, right? And you look at him, he has like a huge scar on his head. He plays the character really well. I was like, man, what is this dude's history? Because he is killing it on this role. And then, it turns out he's actually gay on the show as well, which like brought in a whole new element to him. So I was like, this guy's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that's how I know him.
Man, it's gotta have a code. Every time I think of him, I think of Omar's quote, man, and how complex that character was, but he nailed it, man. He really performed it. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
That was definitely like a super memorable character. Like, this and one of the characters in that show who, you just kind of, no matter what you felt, you had respect for him, and the way he played it was just so great. And he had done a bunch of other things recently too in the last few years. But yeah, he played a bunch of varied roles, and he was always like wonderful. So
Yeah.
Much
Shout out to Michael K. Williams. If anybody's still watching, fans of Michael K. Williams, put your favorite movie that you watched with him in it, or one of his favorite characters, just to show some love. Because we were all taken by that. And Tani, you said it too, man. I felt like, man, like we've been losing a lot of entertainers recently.
way too many young people. Young people.
Yeah.
People, almost not quite 50, just after 50.
He wasn't Superfly. He wasn't Superfly. I forgot he's in Superfly. He was good at Superfly too.
Mm.
Yeah, the rappers, like I'm always like, man, every time a rapper gets killed, I'm like, oh my goodness, man. It's not that I think it's, like, oh, like even if I listen to the music and I'm like, well, he talked a lot about rap killing people, he still loses his life, man. This kid or this person has lost their life, and you can't ever get that back. We'll never get any more music from that person. We'll never get any more um, projects from a Michael K. Williams. Like that's what hurts, right? Is um, so it saddens me to see like nowadays, like, it's almost like every month, a new entertainer, and then when you add the pandemic on top of it,
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to be at the end of that airline either. So it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the man, Tandy, if you've never seen The Wire, oh my goodness, man. Speaking of The Wire, it's such a good show, man. It's extremely well written and easy to follow for what the content is, man. And it was one of the only shows, not even Breaking Bad did this to me. Like, there's only 2 shows that actually made me stop and like go, I need to like process what I just watched. And it was The Wire. And I mean, just especially the season with the schools, man. That one was one of the most hard to sit through. Like, even though I enjoyed it, it was hard to process television I've ever watched outside of like When They See Us. That was the only other show I've ever seen where I was like, I could have sat through a horror movie and it wouldn't have scared me like this. Like this
And he was in When They
terrifying.
See Us. He was in When They See Us too.
And he was in When They
He was
See
the
Us as
father.
well. He was a
Yeah.
father, and he killed that role because, oh my God, that was such a horrible like experience to kind of connect to. But man, you gotta see The Wire. They should teach
How
The
many
Wire.
seasons?
They
How
should
many
teach that
seasons?
as 5. You don't really need to see the 5th one,
Okay.
which I think is the
Good,
last
because that's the one I fell off on. I need to.
That was the most. That was terrible. It was.
There's a reason
It
you
was
got off.
ass butter. That one. But the one with the man. Oh,
The kids
that
came
show
in on season 4, I believe.
4, man. That was a hardest season for me. Like anything with children, especially I was working in the schools and seeing it captured like that. Like when you're working in the school district, there's stories like that you hear all the time. But watching it just connected in a very visual way and with all the context was like, ooh, it was crazy. You gotta watch it. It's not it's a still enjoyable thing to watch. I just thought that one to me was hard for me, seeing how those kids ended up where they ended up and how that all kind of fits into the cycle of what's going on in that area, right? It was deep, man. So yeah.
Mhm.
But on a lighter note, next topic. Yeah. Ivermectin.
All right, John. So break it down for me, because I'm out of the loop on the whole ivermectin debacle. I've heard some stuff about dewormers and whether or not you're actually getting rid of
Tandi,
worms or like your stomach lining or something. So
yeah. So
that's all I know.
ivermectin is an anti-parasite. This is according to Google, right? Looking at Google's definitions. It can treat infections caused by roundworms, threadworms, and other parasites. Notice that was the only thing that was there. It also says if you're pregnant, you should consult your doctor if you're going to take that. And it also says you should avoid alcohol if you're taking ivermectin. Now, why that is a topic for our conversation is some Americans have been using ivermectin to combat symptoms of COVID-19, COVID-20, whatever. This drug has not been cleared, including the manufacturers, on using it as a like something to treat COVID. But yet there's this like building um, group of individuals who have been using it. Even people like Joe Rogan, who has caught COVID and used it with supplements and with other supplements to go with it as well. Not the vaccine, though, right? That right. So to me, what I thought was interesting was ivermectin wasn't something that anyone has treated COVID with before. And from my understanding, it's being tested on those symptoms now. Nothing has been approved, but yet there have been people who have overdosed from using it in the animal quantity level of the drug. So it is something that could be treated for humans, but they also use certain levels and dosage for horses and dogs, and people have been using high levels of it to combat COVID, dying and overdosing on the drug. And like I said, even notable people are like, yeah, they're using it, using it. I think it's ridiculous, man. And I'm not saying this to anybody who's using it that's listening. My thing is, if you're using it but you have the vaccine, it's still ridiculous. But whatever, you can do whatever you want fundamentally to your body. If you haven't gotten the vaccine and you're using it, I need to hear some of the logic. and I might look at you like you're ridiculous, and I'm being nice when I say that. But that's essentially what's been going on. This whole situation of people are using this drug that's not approved for it, and even more so, there's a family who is taking it to the judge level to get because they're let's say their 74-year-old father,
See that?
grandfather.
Is that significant to you, Tandy? They 74?
No, that's what I was talking about before. I was like, okay, he pulled up the info on it. Go ahead, read, John. Read.
Yeah. So says, hold on, let me pull back my screen. Just moved. But a 74-year-old man died recently. I think he died on Monday after a month-long battle with COVID-19. And his family filed a lawsuit over being able to use the drug ivermectin to treat his condition. And the judge ruled in their favor. The issue was the doctor from the hospital originally said that they would not give him that drug because there was no evidence, essentially, that it would help him fight COVID. But what's interesting is the judge approved it, right?
That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I agree. It doesn't make sense. First off,
this is Texas too, by the way. This is Texas.
Yeah, of course.
Can't they go to another doctor? I don't know how that works. I don't know what John went.
No, he was in the hospital. You can't just switch around.
You can't fire your doctor?
I mean, let me see. They could probably switch you to another doctor in the hospital. However, I doubt that whatever hospital that was, they were going to find a physician who'd be willing to treat that patient.
And isn't that weird that none of the doctors want to give him this thing?
No, it's also like, why does a judge outrank a doctor?
That's the second thing.
Physician.
What medical background?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
At all.
Because in Texas, that's how they run it, right? Like we've seen Texas states and even some southern states put the judge in, basically give him a medical degree and allows them to make these scientific decisions, right? Most of these decisions go through rigorous medical examination. I'll give you an example for those who are watching who don't understand what doctors do. So my wife who battled cancer, right? In order for us to go into, let's say, have a pregnancy, right? To see if a pregnancy was okay, a team of doctors, hundreds of MD Anderson doctors. MD Anderson is like the Michael Jordan that kills cancer, by the way, right? Even hundreds of them had to sit and review my wife's case to get the most accurate medical opinion, right? Imagine if 100 judges had to decide on whether my wife was supposed to have a kid or not, right? What relevant information are they going to use that's going to make the most legitimate decision? Right now, I just feel like things become so politicized, man, that there's no way that a judge should make that decision in any circumstance. And there's 100 things that we can actually put and switch COVID out and see if that actually will make sense. And it doesn't, man. Not for every case. But
there's just a war. There's just a war between politics and science right now. It's just a flat out war. There's no scientific background that a judge needs to have.
Here's what's funny about that, right? I used to get in arguments with people who blame religion for all of the world's problems. Oh, religion. If you got rid of religion, the world would do this. The world would be better. People would stop being racist. People would stop killing people. People would stop being evil. And I would say the problem with that logic is the bigger equation is the human that's involved in that problem. So now you switch religion out and we have politics going against science. My point is, yes, we have so much dissonance in this country, possibly even globally, that it doesn't matter if it's politics. It could be, tall versus short people are, tall people aren't taking. We find every way to do what we want to do if people give us the room to do it, right? Especially if you have a system that you can go around or use to make what your personal truth is, or the thing that you want to be real, now be something people have to live by, right? And that's crazy, right? There's a difference between like what's factual and things that what people have to live by. And that's insane. Can you imagine, like, as an asthma patient, I'm an asthmatic, have asthma my whole life. Imagine if the doctor said, John, all these inhalers we've been using, we're actually doing tests to use dewormer. If you take the dewormer, it's a good chance that this asthma attack, when you have it, it'll help the asthma attack, right? Like that's insane. But if you do that as a judge, then you could possibly get to the point where now politics are pushing a doctor to start giving out whatever, right? I remember when Michi said before the conversation, right? When do we tell the doctors, like when does it change when you are actually telling the doctor, I want this, cut my heart open right now and do this ventricle, don't do the other two, I just want this one done, 3 a block though, I get it, just clean one because I don't trust the other two, I don't know if you're telling the truth.
Now I'm going to jump in on that because I think there's a bit of a caveat here, at least in my opinion. Yes, the doctor has the experience, the knowledge, they went to school. However, the choices that they recommend are not always the most, it's going to sound weird, in my opinion, not always the most healthy for their patients, right? Some of these medications can be so harsh on you, the side effects, yada, yada, right?
Sure.
I think being able to have background and have a conversation with a doctor about why they're recommending something to you. What is it supposed to do? When do you see the results? Can you break down how that works in the body? If you can get to that point and have some sort of background yourself to have that conversation instead of just trusting them, I think you may find there are other options sometimes that you're not aware of.
Absolutely. You can always get an opinion. I've never had a doctor, say, I'm not going to give you, don't come back here if you don't take my advice. I've never had him say that, right?
We cut to a restaurant where Tandi's sitting down to eat her meal. Okay, ma'am. I know you ordered the steak, but I actually went ahead and brought you out the chicken. I talked to we have a judge and a doctor on staff, and I talked to them, and they decided that this will be a better choice for you.
That unusual. But I don't want to eat chicken. I've had chicken every night this week.
Right.
Today's Friday. Today's steak night. I usually try to have a steak every Friday, and I just want my steak, man.
Okay, yeah, great. I went to the kitchen. I put the order in, and the judge and the doctor, they conferred, as they do for every meal that's eaten here, and they said every meal, yeah, we have a team of judges and doctors on staff, and they said this is what you need to have. This is what you should have today. So, got you the roasted chicken with some seasonal vegetables.
Oh wow!
Which we yeah.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am. Are you the owner of the white Camry outside?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. You just got towed. I know we valeted your car, but the doctors recommended us to move the car to a different location. It was quite hazardous for us walking in the dark place. So it got towed. I just want to let you know that.
God.
Here's your ticket.
And the doctors and the judges decided on where my car goes to.
Well, for the staff, they just wanted to make sure that we were safe when we're parking the cars in the area that's not well lit. So they made an executive decision, and we had to move it.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all need to put this on the menu, on the door, or something that your choices will be vetoed by a doctor and a judge if they disagree with them. Because I don't think a lot of people know that can happen when they come to this restaurant. That you can think that you're in control of some things, you follow rules, you follow the process, and then it's overridden.
Okay, sorry, one second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry to talk to me from my earpiece. They're saying you need to calm down a little bit. That you're gonna agitate. Your blood pressure's gonna get high, and they don't want that happening to you. So they want you to think of like puppies or something nice and soft.
They want
running
they
in-
want
in
to
the back.
control how I think.
No,
They
ma'am.
want me
They
to-
just don't want you to get too excited. If they get too excited, the nurses will come and take you to the back and actually start to get you, hooked up to some IVs.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Are you?
We
You don't
get into a
wanna get
lawyer's
admitted.
office. Oh yeah, I think you have a rock solid case here. This is
Thank you.
appalling stuff.
It's-
You're saying that the nurses took you to the back, hooked you up to
Took
a
me to
blood
the
pressure
back.
machine,
Yes,
and made you squeeze a ball.
Yeah, and I signed nothing. I did not give them authorization to do anything.
I'll tell you, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. That
Yes,
was
it
steak
is.
night for you, was it
Steak
not?
night, one night a week. That's all I.
One night. You earned that in America. You earned that. I don't know. Yeah, we're going to take this to the top. This
Thank
is
you.
a
I
great
knew
case
you.
you got here. Now tell me
Thank
about
you.
this car that you lost. All right, tell me about the
Well,
car.
yeah, my white Camry. So I
Mhm.
give it to the valet. He
Mhm.
parks it for me, and about 15 minutes later, he comes in the restaurant and says that the judges and the doctors told him to move it because it was a hazard to the people who work there, but they're the ones who parked it there in the first place.
And what's the story behind the car? Where'd you get it from? Was it handed down, or what happened?
No, it was just a purchase that I made.
Okay, well,
on my
when
own
we
head.
go to court, you received it from your mom. All right,
Huh?
your mom worked after hours, 2 jobs to get you that car, so you can get to work to get the money to have that steak night.
Why?
You hear me?
No, why would I say that? That's not true. I'll be under oath.
Oh, your case is looking a little less rock solid right now, based on what you're telling me. I thought you were gonna fight this. I thought you wanted to take this to the top. I'm with you.
I do. I want to fight it. You're the best.
Then
I can't.
I need you to tell the truth. You know what I mean? The truth.
Come on, man. Don't make me perjure myself.
Who said the P word? Nobody in this office said the P word. All right. I'm gonna get this court date scheduled. You're gonna go on the stand. You're gonna tell your story.
I'm gonna tell the story because I want these guys stopped. I want to be able to. But I want everybody to be able to go to a restaurant and eat what they want to eat.
Exactly. That's the American way. That's the America that people died for. Go to a restaurant, order some, and get that on your plate.
Right, and not be subjected to some medical treatment in the back next to the dishwashers.
Now, be honest with me, lawyer and all. How is your heart?
What?
I
guess
if there's any complications, I need to know about that.
No, there's.
That's right. That's right. There's no complications.
No. Hold up.
You're being honest.
What is going on here? I'm okay, Mr. Lewis. I'm.
We cut to the courtroom. Well, after reviewing all of the evidence, it looks like Miss Tandi, you do suffer from some early onset of diabetes and some pre-heart failure.
Now, Your Honor, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. I definitely did not hear this from my client, who told me that she was in perfect health.
Well, when I checked the records, the diagnostic records from the restaurant that this gentleman here just handed me, it shows a complete diagnostic from head to toe on Miss Tandaway here, and it shows that they saved her from potentially dying right there that night from a heart attack if she would have ate one bite of that steak. Now,
Your Honor, I'm willing to side with my client over some dumb piece of paper. What we have right here, we have a steak actually right over here, medium rare, side of mashed potatoes. We're gonna bring it out. My client is gonna eat it right here in this courtroom, and we're gonna see what happens. We're going to see her enjoy her meal and walk out a healthy woman.
Tandi, if you have a heart attack, you will be arrested and fined and have to pay the court cost of this here restaurant. Do you understand?
We will take it to the hospital first, just so you know. But we'll arrest you later.
Okay.
Do you understand that before you take a bite out of here? You can and will be arrested as soon as you are resuscitated from your heart attack.
A waiter is brought it out. It's on a very nice plate. It's smoking. The whole courtroom smells. It smells good. Steak knife right next to it. Juice is sort of running. There's butter on top that's perfectly
I
melted.
see there's some garlic butter sitting on top. That's got to be about 300 grams of sodium right there. Are you sure you want to eat?
Would you like anything to drink as well?
I want the freedom to have a steak. But you're saying that they ran a full diagnostic on me, just that little, that one tube of blood.
Complete diagnostic, head to toe.
Now you're in perfect health, right? You're not gonna have a heart attack, right?
Remember, you will have to pay all court costs and fines of the defendant here. I mean, the prosecutor team here.
Oh,
Sure call. This is something your lawyer requested. I'm just trying to make sure my court is here and able to get down to justice. Are you going to suck on some of that garlic butter on this here steak and hope your heart don't give out like an 87 Chrysler? Or are you going to just go ahead and settle this out of court and pay that bill and the medical bill you owe that restaurant? $15,000, by the way.
And just before she takes a bite, a guy bursts into the courtroom and runs up to the judge. Judge, here from the court HOA. Here from the court HOA. Your gavel's too big. It's too big according to our regulations. You need to get a smaller gavel.
Get a smaller gavel.
Get a smaller gavel right now, or we're gonna have to shut this whole court down.
What jurisdiction does the HOA have? When did it go outside of neighborhoods and now to the U.S. government? Is our country going to hell in a hot basket?
Actually, Judge, the court was rezoned into the Sunny Valley.
Yeah. God damn it.
So he's a professional HOA member. He's been doing it all his life. He'll know.
Yeah.
Is that true, bailiff? Are we in the wrong zoning district? Because if so, we got to throw this whole court case out and get me a smaller gavel.
And see.
Hey man, I'm HOA. Man. It's like TSA for like the neighborhood. Like that's what's gonna end up becoming is you're gonna have to like drive through them and then walk through with your hands up just to get into your neighborhood. That's terrible, man.
No.
Can we learn anything from 9/11 about fear? Because we should not respond to it with unclear like strategy, right? We just throw shit at the wall, man. Like the TSA, we have to be wasting like billions of dollars. Well, I'm not gonna say that because I fuck with the TSA. Sorry, TSA. I like y'all. But let's be real. Let's be real. Come on now. Come on now. Not the US Postal Service, right? You could carry our mail and personal information and dump it if you want, right? But the HOA and TSA, man, I feel like they got some like legendary power, man. Like just like legendary. I literally watched a lady cuss somebody out in the airport. I remember thinking like, I feel like TSA, I don't look at them like going to the airport as a part of the government. They kind of blend in with the airport, right? So it should kind of be like customer service. People spend a shit ton of money to try to make a flight, have all these things going on, and these ladies were like just going in on them. You should have got here on time. I ain't got time for this. I'm like, dude, you are handling people that spend at least.
Oh,
like,
the TSA person was cussing somebody out.
Yes, they were like, and I mean, they were already like aggressive, like like I'm one of those people. I'm like, I know what it is. Let's just whatever. If someone says something crazy to me in public, I just look at him like I'm like stupid. I just be like, oh okay. I don't give him no attention. I'm not gonna go in there. But this person like was like, I just asked, should I get this or that? And the person was like, I don't care what you asked for. It's too early. Nobody's listening. Get to the back. Get to the back. Jesus. I'm like, what? You should have got here on time anyway. That shouldn't be something. They need to go through customer service training. You got to be an asshole to everybody to find maybe one part. And how good are they at finding shit? Like if they were like, dude, the TSA, nobody's getting through the TSA who's doing anything illegal. You would kind of respect it. You'd be like, damn, like they are serious. Kind of like state troopers, right? Like nobody goes at a state trooper. They're there to bust your ass if they pull you over. And they have a high level of doing it. They just arrest anybody that looks suspicious. They'll get everybody who's suspicious, if that makes any sense. The TSA, what are the numbers, man, for y'all to be going that hard? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It just makes me think of, and it wasn't nearly to the degree of what you saw, but recently when we were going to the airport on the way back from a trip, and my wife, she brought a jar of peanut butter, and she checked it on the way there for our son to have snacks. And on the way back, it was in her carry-on, and she didn't realize until when she got taken to the side, and they got, oh, you can't have this. It's spreadable, whatever, right? And it's all well and good. And then I saw him just like slam dunk it into the trash can. That just seemed unnecessary to me. Like,
in your face.
Your kid's peanut butter. There it goes.
Yep.
3 points.
Oh, kid sad. Or like a $400 bottle of cologne. Oh. Somebody's playing defense with him. He shoots it over. And you can't say shit, man. You can't say anything. It's like the Stanley Stanley Milgram prison experiment. You give people power and enforce the power and authority on them. They will go potentially overboard as long as they feel like the authority will let them go overboard, right? Like we saw that psychology. It happens, man. I feel like it happens with cops, TSA for sure. Security, not so much. Like security guys are like, they know they roll. Like security guys will tell you, like, I'm not the cops. You need to go call the cops. Like, that's cool, right? We know what they are, but TSA is, man, crazy. Next topic before I go on a tangent, because I will do that. We had another, we talking about entertainers passing. We had an ex-footballer by the name of, is it John or Jean? Amechi? Is it Jean Pierre Adams or Jean?
Jean-Pierre Adams.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre Adams. International. He's a former France, an international footballer who died at the age of 73. What's interesting about this case is that he was in a coma for 39 years, or the last 39 years of his life. And that coma was brought on by a surgery that happened that was supposed to be just a routine operation on the tendon of his knee. If you've ever played football or soccer, ACLs, patella tendons, quads, you do a lot of running. So this is something that's very common, most likely for most high athletes. And an anesthesiologist that was going to perform the surgery for him was looking after about 8 patients and was potentially overwhelmed. And that's what kind of her mishap sent him into a coma. So I thought it was a very interesting story.
But what was also important was that they were did you say the medical staff were on strike, and so they still went ahead with the surgery anyway, as opposed to saying, hey, you know what, we don't have enough people here. This is, I mean, it's important, but let's just hold off until we can get the right number of people here.
Right.
Kept going. Kept going.
And from what the article says, it says like he basically during the surgery, he was like poorly set up. So while he was under, there was tubes blocking some of the pathways to his lungs, starving him from oxygen, sending him
Mm,
into a cardiac arrest. That's what essentially um, started the coma.
I see.
But to me, man, 39 years in a coma seemed kind of like seemed odd to me, to be honest. Like I don't know, I don't know much about his wife and the family situation. I know there was probably ongoing lawsuits, and I can only imagine how that lawsuit could, you know, what his wife
Mhm.
was experiencing, or his kids was experiencing. But 39 years, man. I was talking to my wife. It's like, man, how long would you let me stay on a coma? She heard, answered straight up, not 39 years. I wouldn't last 39 years like that.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
his wife was still going to visit him every day.
she
Yeah,
still did. That's what I said.
no,
Like it was
I think he was home,
very
right?
interesting.
Or he was somewhere else. He wasn't in that hospital
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt like I read he was home, or he was probably somewhere else. Well, no, he
Yeah.
was in a coma. He was probably like a skilled nursing facility or something where they're still
Mhm.
able to
Yeah.
monitor
But she
him
would visit him,
long-term acute care. Yeah, every day.
and
Yeah,
that is
dedication.
pretty noble. It's pretty noble, right? Like that's it's a depth to his part. Bot surgery, athlete, super
Yeah.
athlete. You're not expecting to go in, fix your knee, your kneecap, and come out with a heart attack.
Well,
And
they said the anesthesiologist assistant was monitoring that patient, monitoring Jean Pierre Adams. And like I think they said in the case when it was brought to trial, because they were punished, but it was a very short sentence. I don't even know if they did jail time. But anyway, he said, "Oh, I should not have been in that type of situation. I should not have been set up to take care of him." In nursing, not that you all know or care, but we have what's called safe harbor. I'm serious. Because if you find that you're in a medical situation where your duty to your patient is compromised by whatever's going on, then you can submit paperwork for what's called safe harbor, which protects your license, and at some point also protects you from any action that may happen because you're being put in this situation. And usually when you say safe harbor, then the whole place stops and they're like, okay, okay. And what's going on? What
yeah.
do we need to do? Why we whatever? But it
It's
sounds
sort
like
of like timeout. Is what you're saying?
well, it no, it doesn't
More like
necessarily stop action, but it protects your license. It says that
Okay.
you are asking me to perform a duty in an unsafe way, in an unsafe condition, whatever it is, and this compromises my duty to my patient. And so when you invoke safe harbor, usually what happens is like the nursing supervisor, the house supervisor, everybody comes in like, okay, what's going on? What's wrong? And then they try to rectify what's happening or maybe make some other decision. But I guess anesthesiologists don't necessarily have that. I don't know. But it just sounds to me like something that you shouldn't continue doing if you know you're in unsafe conditions. It's just
you said,
that's
it's called safe harbor.
safe harbor.
We
Do
cut
you
to
know?
a meeting.
No, we're not gonna do no scene about safe harbor. No,
Hey, since we have been done that safe harbor training, we've noticed that a lot more nurses have been using. And I wanted to kind of see you in your wings, the nurses that report to you. What are some of the excuses that you think we should be accepting versus the ones that we should not be accepting? Give me some examples. Let's talk through this. Um, because I think we still have to keep safe harbor, right? It
we
works.
have to keep it. It has
We
to.
got to definitely keep it, but we
We got
definitely
to.
need to focus on the understanding for our nurses, right? We're
Yeah.
getting a lot of people, you know, saying a bunch of stuff. So just tell me what's going on so I can just make sure we have this safety of the hospital and the people that work for us
Right.
under,
hmm
you know.
I have well, this is just an example. So I got one request for safe harbor in the neuro ICU, where typically the nurses have 1 to 2 patients max that they're covering, but we had an overabundance of neuro ICU patients, and so they were asking nurses to take 3 and 4 patients each. And so they submitted to safe harbor. And I thought that was legit because, they definitely couldn't do what needed to be done in that ICU. But on the other hand, I got a safe harbor request from down in on the 14th floor where they're complaining because the corn chips in the vending machine down there aren't brand name, that we switch brands and they don't like that new brand. And so they didn't want to work under those conditions. And I was like, okay, that's not it.
I've been getting a lot of feedback about those Costco chips. I don't think
save
it's
so
worth the
much
money that
money.
we save. I really don't think it's worth it. Some people like Lay's, okay? I don't like there's a difference between how much salt is on a Lay's chip and in a Costco chip. That's just my preference. But I get what you're saying. I get what
Hey,
you're
sorry, knock. Sorry, Tandy. Do you know if they got that the chip thing sorted out yet? Because
No,
I thought we'll go back, to the brand name chips. I don't want to file another safe harbor.
I've got 6 boxes of Costco chips in there. I'm not gonna just sit there with boxes. We're gonna put them in the vending machines, and when they're running out, when we run out, we'll switch back to Lay's. But come on, guys, I just spent
Hey, knock.
commissioner
Hey,
this
yeah. Down on the 14th floor. Oh, hey, Amechi. Yeah, everything's come to a standstill waiting for this chip thing to get sorted out. Someone calls safe harbor, so it's basically the same as timeout. And
It is
and all
not.
the patients support it. So,
The patient supports you. How do you know?
Mhm.
How do you know? How do you know that the patient supports you?
well, I mean, most of them are getting ready for surgery, so they're, out unconscious. But the ones who aren't,
You have unconscious patients down there ready for surgery, and you're up here asking me about chips.
well, can
that's
you
why we gotta get this sorted.
exactly? Let's sort this out. Let's get the.
Yes, this is a perfect example, Tender. Let's all get this smokehouse. Let's figure out how we're going to solve this problem because we got to be memorial, right? We can't keep following the memorial.
Mhm.
Let's figure this
Look,
out, Tender.
their whole partnership with the Oreo Lay's people. So what? Okay, that's great.
My
Good
cousin
for
works
them.
there. I can get us a good deal.
We're nurses. Our duty is to patients, patient safety, patient care. That's our focus. Nurses.
So you're telling me, Amici, am I crazy? Are you telling me that you wouldn't save a patient's life by just getting them the Lay's chips that we're all asking for? I didn't think that was a big ask. But, day after day, it was unbranded chips, and I started to feel like we need some safe harbor up in here.
Mhm.
I don't know about you all, but I'm not gonna even make the decision. Okay, I'm submitting all of your names. I'm submitting your names to the state board of nursing. We're taking it up to the board. You guys let the board decide if this is a fair use of safe harbor.
That can't happen today, Tandy. We have people getting ready for surgery. We need a solution right now. That's why we pay you the money. All right.
We
So
cut
you're
to
telling
we cut the Tandy meeting with her rep. Looks like you got a solid case here. Based on what you're telling me, you've been
I do.
stacking these Costco boxes for days and days. You got 6 of you. You're looking to feed for your nurses and save money for the hospital.
The hospital put me on a budget.
That's exactly in America. In America, you abide by a budget. You can't just go around buying Oreos and Lay's.
we cut to the court. All right, now, Tandy, it sounds like you are willing to have one of the patients come out here and test how well our nurses can perform their task eating a regular generic chip versus a Lay's chip that has a tad more extra sodium and salt on it than a regular, than a regular Costco chip.
Your Honor, I know that
I-
the defense is we have defenses in this court, right? I know that the defense is claiming that the extra sodium helps keep the nurses alert during their operation, but I don't believe any sort of indication that has been proven. I don't abide by a piece of paper. I abide by America, and my client will agree.
well, the hospital that they all work for luckily submitted me some diagnostics on all of the nurses on that day who had surgery, and it looked like their blood sugar was quite low, and they had very thin, very thin blood, and somewhat dehydrated. And we found that with a tad bit more sodium in your diet, it allows to keep a lot more hydration. These are what the notes that have been submitted to me by my bailiff. Okay.
That's what my mom used to always say. So
We in the hospital. They could have had that done there. What are they doing? Just
Now, Tandi, I have right here a letter from the board that holds your license saying that they are fully committed to your decision, whatever that is, as long as you are right. If you are wrong, you must pay the HOA fees of this courtroom and all of the other.
And scene. And scene. And that is the Can't Tell Us Nothing show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to the people in the chat: Benita, Cicely, Miss Nom Nommer. Miss Nom Nommer.
I love it.
Miranda. TSA's on some gangster shit.
For sure.
And anyone else?
You should get a shirt like that, Miranda, and say TSA on some gangster shit and walk to the airport.
But DJ Comfy, get them tunes ready. Everybody, pay your HOA fees and read your bylaws. We're out. See you next Tuesday. What was that?
Take care of your trees.
Take care of your trees. And watch The Wire if you have.
Watch The Wire.
Watch The Wire.
You out.